Hello YouTube, this is Salam. In this video I'm going to show how I rebuilt the two stabilizers, the two bucket lift, and the steering cylinders for this backhoe. I originally thought to post each type of cylinder in its own video. However, I don't want my videos to be boring and repeat similar things over and over again. I have tips and tricks in each of the individual videos that I posted regarding the repacking of these 11 cylinders. I started by repacking the bucket cylinder for the front loader, and then I did one for each of the individual hydraulic cylinders for the backhoe, and I also did one about the swing tower cylinders. If you are watching these videos to repack or fix a hydraulic cylinders that you have, please watch all of them, as I have tips and tricks in each one of these videos. Please enjoy the video, and at the end of it I will give you my final thoughts regarding repacking the hydraulic cylinders and the problem that I ran into about repacking the hydraulic cylinders. I'm gonna try to use this to lose this one. I heated it up on the bolt head. Yep, it's warm. I also decided to go ahead and replace both rods for the stabilizers because they lost the chrome and they have dimples on them, this side and the other side. I thought originally to just polish them. However, I found good deal on them too, so I'm waiting for those. The new stabilizer cylinder rod came in. I'm ready to install the gland and the piston on them and install them on the cylinders. They come with bushing, bolt and washer. The original one, they just have damage to the chrome. And this happened because a lot of time operators of this machine, excavator and backhoe, what they do, they pile the rocks or concrete right next to the machine so they could take full scoop when they load something. And sometime rock or concrete will hit the chrome and take it off, because this is just a ductile rod and they chrome plated. The oil seal need to operate on very smooth surface. That's why they use a chrome, because the chrome doesn't rust and it's hard, so it will resist some abrasive material. However, it doesn't take a big hit from chunk of concrete or rocks. It will take the chrome off. And when the chrome come off, the hydraulic pressure, especially when it's warm, it's create a lot of pressure on the seal, and if the surface not smooth, it will damage the seal and eventually it will lead to leak. This can be fixed by wire brushing this. You clean it real good with acetone, make sure no oil left there, fill it with JB Weld or Bondo, and then sand it with a smooth paper, and then clear coat it when it's dry and polish it again. It will give you a temporary fix. However, I didn't want to go this route because I want to keep this machine and I have several projects I want to do with, so I don't want to stop while I'm working on my project and repack these seals. All 10 cylinders, they go the exact same way as far as the gland kit or the bore kit and the piston kit. There is only 4 special one. They come with the cast iron ring, and that's gonna be the crowd or the dipper cylinder, and the boom cylinder on the backhoe, and the 2-swing cylinder on the backhoe. All the surface is clean and lubricated, and I'm ready to install it. Since it's dead, I'm still working on the backhoe end. I'm waiting on parts. I have the rings for the loader cylinder this. So I picked it up with the tractor. I set it on free float and I was able to pick it. This way I'll be able to push the pin in or out and work on them on both sides. This is the biggest snap ring plier I have. It doesn't work. I already tried it. It doesn't open wide enough. I've been taking them off with just a regular needle nose. this over here starts spinning, so I had to get the hammer drill. I tried to hold it with the screwdriver from here and it kept spinning, so I kept hammer it with the hammer drill and it came off. And I installed the extraction ring. This is one of the loader cylinder, the front loader cylinder. I didn't have to put a lot of force on it. This is the loader cylinder. For the other side, I have the loader sit on 2 barrels, and I still held it with my tractor for safety reason. All the seals and O-rings on, everything dry. Just little bit of grease on the thread. That's it. This rod ready to be installed in. I disassembled this side last night. I removed all the O-rings and I took the gland and cleaned it at the house. I also took this pin and polished it because I had hard time taking it out. It was rusted. I also received the rebuild kit for the crown cylinder. So I'll be putting that together today too. This pin was seized. I took it and I polished it on the lathe. I just removed the rust. I didn't hit the metal. And now it's going easy. I also took the gland, cleaned the thread, clean the inside. It's very important to make sure everything super clean so you don't get any rust or debris or anything to go inside the hydraulic system. This is how you measure the rod. It's 45mm rod. Everything in the hydraulic system of this backhoe is in metric. So make sure you take all the measurement in metric. And this is how you measure the bore of the cylinder. It's 80mm. Make sure the zerk fitting pointing down. Keep it as straight as possible. Make sure you dry your hand before you use the hammer so it doesn't slip. Once again, I try to avoid hitting the wiper. And just like that. This is smaller than the other cylinder. They kind of hard to reach the ring, so I'm gonna push the gland in as far as I could. Be careful, these tips over here, they're very sharp. Like I said, it's a good idea to wear gloves. Try not to scratch the cylinder, but also not to hurt yourself. It's in. Next, try to give it one of these. Put the installation ring for future. pack this with the grease and tie the knot. It's very simple, very easy. Really the hardest part is extracting and losing everything. Once you have everything out and clean, it won't take but 10 minutes to put everything back together. Pack the void over here with marine grade anti-seize, and also put on the thread and the surfaces of the nut and the cylinder. This way, when you do it next time, or if somebody else gonna do it next time, it will be easier. There will be no rust, and the nut will lose easy without messing up the thread. I won't tie this until I secure it over here on the pin for the loader. I disconnected the rod from here. I disconnected both hydraulic hoses, and I'm ready to pull the rod out. The only difference between this cylinder and the other cylinders on the backhoe, they use a snap ring over here instead of nut. I think everything else is exactly the same except this one. So if I remove the snap ring, I should be able to push the gland in, remove the internal snap ring, and then pull everything out. Yeah, it even come with one of those installation ring or extraction ring. Same thing, this installation ring come with the high ends and low end. The high end go toward the outside. It was easier working on the bigger cylinders than the small one. And give it one of these. Yeah, the O-ring is gone. Now I'm gonna remove this and pull the piston out and the gland out to clean them and put the new seals on them. The kit I got for this steering cylinder is wrong. It's oversized. I got from the dealer. So the only thing I'm going to be able to do today is just clean everything and get it ready to when I get the right kit. I highly suggest to whom want to build stuff like this to take it apart first and then go to the dealer and match it, or to the hydraulic place. I brought the steering rod and it's a gland and everything. I'm gonna clean them, remove all the old seal. The seal I bought, it didn't fit when I took it apart, so this is the correct part. It is 50 millimeter bore and a 25 millimeter rod. And this is the right kit number for the gland. And this for the piston. I have everything cleaned. I blow everything with air. It's very important for all the surfaces to be super clean, so when the seal seat inside, there will be no gap or an object will be between the metal and the seal itself. So make sure cleanliness is very important. I checked all the seal that I received, everything seems to be right. The piston for the steering cylinder, it has the guides built into it. You can't change them. If they're in bad shape, you need to buy the piston. This over here, this rubber O-ring and this Teflon, they go just like this. You put the O-ring first, and then the Teflon seal need to be warmed up with some oil and inserted over there. This is a flat ring, and the bigger O-ring, they go on the gland. They go like this, the flat toward the outside and the rubber toward the inside. The gland has two grooves inside. The bottom one, or the one to the inside, it's the buffer seal, and then the main seal and the wiper outside. It's exactly similar to the hydraulic cylinders for the loader and the backhoe side. The only thing it's missing, it doesn't have guide ring, the one to protect the rod from rubbing against the gland. However, they have the wiper is a little bit thicker and has more plastic, so I think it will act as guide, same as the main seal. I'm gonna wet it a little bit with some oil I'm ready to start installing the seals. I start with the main seal. It's gonna go basically like this. The lip will be facing to the inside. However, I'm gonna insert it from outside because the groove for it is closer to the surface. Like I said, the flat side to the outside and the groove to the inside, or the lip. Next, I need to install the buffer seal. The O-ring will go first. And then you see the groove over here. The groove is going to be to the inside. There is a flat and there is one with cut, little bit cut inside. This is the buffer seal. This is made from Teflon, so be careful with it, don't bend it. It's better to heat it up with some hot oil. All the way in. After I install both seals, the main seal and the buffer seal, I'm ready to install the wiper seal. I'm gonna clean the surface here and the surface here with acetone, dry it real good, put some silicone on both surfaces, and I made this fixture. And I'm gonna use the vise to press this seal in. I coated this with silicone. And I also coated the seal with silicone. And I'm just going to use the vise to press it in. The gland is completed. I'm not going to install it. I'm going to allow about 1 hour for the silicone to dry. And I'm going to go heat some oil and dip this in it.
This O-ring over here is extra, and this the installation ring, and that's it. It's ready to be assembled.
I cleaned all the steering joints. This one over here, the grease fitting was blocked. It didn't allow any grease to go through, so I pulled the zero fitting out and cleaned it. I also cleaned the pin, removed all the rust, and it's free now. I had to use the hammer to pull it out before, and now as you see, it's free. I wrote my final thoughts about hydraulic cylinders rebuilt on paper so I don't forget anything. As you saw in this video and previous videos that I posted regarding the rebuilding of the 11 hydraulic cylinders for this machine, a few problems you may run into, and I would like to warn you about them before you attempt to duplicate my work. Number one, be safe. Any hydraulic system is under pressure. Make sure you relieve the system properly before you start any work. Any work you do it at your own risk. I'm not responsible for any damage or injury you may get as a result of watching my videos. Number two, tools. I rebuilt all the hydraulic cylinders with basic tools. You will also need a 3/4 inch socket set that's able to go up to 2 3/16 of inch. All the bolts and nuts for this hydraulic system are metric, but I was able to use 1 5/8, 1 3/4, 2 inch and 2 3/16 of inch sockets to do the job. I also had to weld two sockets, the 2 inch and the 2 3/16 of inch, to flat stock to be able to work on the bigger cylinders. I was able to loosen all of the cylinders with a jackhammer, the big nut, the castle nut. The idea came to me on one job. I was trying to loosen a thrust bearing on a large gearbox. There was no room to use the wrench that designed for it or a hammer and a chisel. I thought to try the jackhammer with a long chisel, and it worked great. It also worked great for this job, as you saw from the video. If you have similar machine or similar hydraulic cylinder and you don't own a jackhammer, you can rent one from one of them rental tool places for a few hours to loosen the cylinder or multiple cylinders nut and then return it. Number three, make sure you order the right kit for your cylinders. John Deere uses two kits for each cylinder, one called bore kit and the other one called rod kit. I went to John Deere dealer for construction machines to buy a few things for this machine. Their prices high. I asked the part guy, the guy on the counter, to give me a part list for all the kits that I needed. He was nice and he made me a list. Their quote was about $1,800 for all the kits that I needed for the job, which is 11 of them. I need 11 cylinders, so that total of 22 kits. I ended up buying all the kit from eBay and Amazon. I also had to buy individual rings and seal from a local hydraulic shop. A few of the kits didn't fit. I went back to John Deere dealer and I was sent to speak to one of the technical support guy. He was very helpful and he showed me where the guy who prepared the part list kit messed up. John Deere machines, or at least mine, you have to order the parts based on the pin or serial number of the machine. However, when you go to their website, it will ask you to enter the machine pin number. The search will yield or give you a result that may not be within the pin number that you entered originally. It will show you, for example, a stabilizer cylinder up to 800 and 2,199. Other option will give you between 800 and 2,200 up to 817,458, etc. So you need to make sure your serial number or pin number within that range. If you click the first one, for example, it will show you the breakout of the cylinder, and each of the item on the breakout picture has a part number. My machine, it fall under the second option, which is between 800 and 2,200 up to 817,458. That where the first guy with John Deere made the error in the list, as he gave me the part list that fit the part or the pin number for a machine with serial number less than 800 and 2,199. Because of that, the job took about 3 weeks as I had to reorder and wait for the correct parts. If I have all the right kits, this job would only take 2 to 3 days. I originally thought to rebuild one cylinder at the time, but because I discovered I have wrong kits, I decided to take all the cylinders off to check. You need to make sure all your parts clean and labeled, and you store them in separate containers so you don't get them mixed up if you work on multiple cylinders. The total cost for me was about $1,050. This includes all the wrong kits that I can return and the 2 new stabilizer rods. One of my friends told me recently he had to rebuild one of the hydraulic cylinders on his John Deere backhoe machine, and it cost him $1,100. So by doing it myself, I saved a lot of money. Other than that, the job was easy and I enjoy working on it and record it for y'all. If you have any question, please feel free to leave them in the comment. I appreciate your support and thank you for watching.